Afternoon, this is Anthony Weeks, and we're going to go inside the marketplace. And today we're at the University of the Virgin Islands, the St. Croix campus, and we're going to take a tour of the coming soon, actually, very soon, to a theater near you. We're at the Research and Technology Park here at the University of Virgin Islands St. Croix campus. Last month, the guest speaker was the executive director, David Zumwalt, and he did a brilliant job, talking about the exciting project, the new facility coming up. And today we're going to do a before. We're going to take a look at the construction phase, and the construction phase is going to be over very shortly, and there will be an official opening of the University of Virgin Islands Research and Technology Park, better known as RT Park. Good afternoon, David. How are you?
Good afternoon, Anthony. Thank you very much.
Good. So I'm really excited about this tour we're going to take today because I know you've been working hard. And the last time I was here, I was really impressed with some of the stuff that you really showed me. So,
Well, I think that this is a great opening for St. Croix. We've been in the process for the last year and a half of building the building. This started right around Labor Day in 2011. The building is on schedule and on budget and will be substantially complete here at the end of March. And so now we're in the process of doing some of the final touches and the landscaping. We've already started the commissioning process, but we still have some work to do. So now is a really good time to see what this building is all about and what I think it's going to mean for the Virgin Islands, for our tenants, and certainly for St. Croix.
as we toured the property and we toured the facility, and there will be active people working while we take this tour. But what I'd like to do as we enter the property, I want you to start with kind of giving us the concept. Explain the reasoning behind what people are seeing, the design of this building, and the application, and all the different ingredients that goes into figuring out the kind of plant that you want.
Okay. Well, to begin, we need to start by realizing that the Virgin Islands, as part of the Eastern Caribbean, is really challenged to create new economic opportunities in what I would call globally competitive careers. Fortunately, the Virgin Islands is as far south and east as you can go in the U.S., and so many people already know that we're blessed with the fiber landing facilities for Level 3, formerly Global Crossing, and also AT&T. But to make those fiber landings real for bandwidth-driven businesses, network-connected businesses, e-commerce, things of that sort, there had to have been some investments along the way to open those facilities for tenants and for companies and really for all Virgin Islanders to be able to participate. The university recognized that if we were going to be serious about creating career opportunities and really a change in the economy for technology-based businesses, that we needed to provide facilities that went beyond just what was happening at Global Crossing, Level 3, or AT&T. And so for many years, we've had on the drawing boards a building here on St. Croix, but we didn't want to bring the building to fruition until we knew how it was going to contribute to the mission of RT Park, to UVI, and to the community. So beginning in roughly 2005, we started to do what's called programming for the building. What would we want it to do? How would it be used? How would RT Park tenants or other companies engage with the university for workforce development purposes? And so by starting with programming needs in the building, what types of companies, tenants, what kinds of academic activities would be required, then we could begin to design what the building would need to look like and how capable it would be of providing the sorts of services that could address those particular needs. So in 2007, we went through what's called a design development phase that culminated in 2008 and 9, and we began to see some of the architectural renderings looking like the building has actually become. And then finally, in the construction documentation phase, we produced construction documents. We were able to solicit bids on the building and ultimately commence construction in 2011. And now, in 2013, the building is about to come to fruition.
Well, as we take a walk in, what I'd like for you to do, the last time I was here, I'd asked a lot of questions in terms of certain elements of the design. And we're now looking at, this is just off of the Centerline Road area. It's very visible, and a lot of people are going to see this new facility. So what I want to know is, as we think of the tropic, as we think of if you will, when you think of digital telecommunication technology, it's not really synonymous with the Caribbean. Now you're going to have a state-of-the-art facility, and one of the things I noticed is a windmill, sugar mill, and a windmill that's going to be part of the integration of how the functionality of the property. So what I'd like you to do is kind of talk to us about how did you marry the two, the aesthetic that we're used to and this new design.
All right. Well, even before talking about the sugar mill and the windmill design, I would mention that the site that we are on has a gentle slope to it, and the soil itself does not handle water runoff very well. And so we realized that we were going to need to address water retention and reuse as part of just an environmentally sensitive design. Part of it, and I'll explain that in just a second, but part of it has to do as well with the realization that as power costs continue to rise, that we needed to incorporate renewables in a way, and even the structure's design, so that the building could be energy efficient. So the principal portion of the building is oriented north-south, and that allows it to take advantage of prevailing breezes from the east. The southern exposure is minimized, which also helps for its heat handling. And there's an arcade roof that covers much of the rest of the building, which provides shading and some wind funneling to incorporate the prevailing breezes in the environmental control of the building. But on the property itself, on the land, we've incorporated these things called bioswales, which help not only capture water, but remediate it and keep it on the site before it simply traverses the site and floods neighboring neighborhoods or the streets. So we have the ability in this site to not only capture and use, but to repurpose up to 1 million gallons of runoff water. And of course, we're collecting water from the roof itself, which is part of the cistern system that we use here for drinking water and such.
So you have a mitigation, a water mitigation issue.
Completely.
That you've addressed it and incorporated into the functionality of the facility.
Absolutely. So the building has been designed from the very beginning to be very, very green. So not only has the site incorporated design elements that help us deal with water, the orientation helps us deal with heat and capture prevailing breezes. The structure, including the glass surfaces, have been designed for hurricane force 5 winds. So this is the best design. Force 5.
Category 5?
Category 5.
Wow.
Yes.
That means that glass can stand?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Wow. It's designed to the Miami-Dade Category 5 standards. Okay. So,
doesn't look like it, but
well, it's intended that the design is one that doesn't look like a fortress, but in fact, it's exactly what it is. Now, the trees in the landscape might not fare as well, but it is designed for Hurricane 5. Okay. So you're standing right now in a courtyard, and you see that we're beginning the process of installing the landscaping. But this courtyard will be enclosed by ficus hedge, and so this courtyard will be part of the building itself.
Is going to be the courtyard.
In the courtyard, that's right. And then the mill itself, and I'll come back to your question shortly about the use of the mill as a design feature. The second floor will be a conference center. The first floor will be the RT Park offices. And as you pan from the mill towards the rest of the building with the arcade roof, back in the corner we have the lobbies. There's a data center on the second floor, and those are building mechanical spaces. And then for much of the building over here, the long portion of the building, much of the first and second floor will be used by the College of Math and Sciences of UVI. The ground floor will be,
going to transition
yes,
from the existing campus
right,
rooms, classrooms to this new building.
And that creates expansion space on the campus for other growing programs. So what's exciting about having the college here is that many of our tenants, when they're looking for workforce development opportunities through scholarships or internships or just interaction with university programs, like to know that they can do it in one place. So it's perfectly sensible for the College of Math and Sciences to be here. The first floor will be primarily classrooms and faculty offices. The second floor will be classrooms and laboratory spaces. As you get closer to the building, the corner of the building there, near the mill, we'll also have executive suite offices for RT Park tenants and some expansion space for offices as well. But coming back to your question about the design of the sugar mill itself, in the design phase for the building, we wanted to capture something that was iconically St. Croix. And when one thinks of architecture on St. Croix, you simply cannot ignore the prevalence of the sugar mill all across this
Old world.
island, old world.
Basically marrying old world with the new world.
Yes, but why use a sugar mill? The sugar mill was used as a driver of commerce throughout the period sugar mills were used, in the sense that it produced power. It was directly involved in the production of the basic product that was created or generated on St. Croix. And so now what we've taken is we've taken that motif and turned it into something that's expressing the new economy for St. Croix, the globally connected economy that leverages bandwidth. And of course, to your point, we will have a wind turbine sitting out in front of it. So you have both the old and the new way of generating renewable energy here on St. Croix.
You've certainly gave a lot of consideration to the environment. You paid attention to history, and now you're also paying attention to the climate in which we're in and what we encounter on an annual basis. And the fact that we're also challenged on the energy side, and you've incorporated the use and the application of renewable energy, if you will. Talk a little bit about that.
In addition to the wind turbine, the arcade roof and the main roof have solar panels on them. And so the combination of wind and solar from a design load perspective will carry about 30 to 35% of the building's operating needs for electricity. And that's based on the design load, which assumes that a lot of things are turned on all the time. The site also has a backup diesel generator so that we can stay up in situations where renewables are not sufficient to provide building power in the case of a building power outage. But the combination of the way that the site was treated for water mitigation issues, the use of renewables, the use of locally sourced products, and the design and the construction of the building have all contributed to make this building what's called a LEED certified silver level building, and LEED standing for leadership in environmental energy design, and part of the U.S. Green Building Council. And it's a standard that recognizes activities that have designed to a high level of energy independence and sustainability.
All right, let's take a walk in the building, because we're excited about what the interior looks like. Now, you put a lot into. There's a lot of redundancy in terms of energy power, in terms of the abilities to supplement and contain yourself. Why is that important for this kind of facility? I mean, is it an overkill, or explain to us? Are you going to be undergrill? Undergrid, power grid with Whopper, and explain why do you need to have that? Again, number of power.
We will be on the grid, absolutely. But the sorts of applications that our tenant companies are developing require what I would call sort of a stateside level of power reliability. And so in designing this building and constructing this building, we want this building to be seen as equivalent to anything that you can find in terms of stateside operation. And that's important because whether we're talking about companies that are attracted to come to the Virgin Islands, or we're talking about companies that get started in the Virgin Islands, in order to be globally competitive, you have to be able to operate in facilities that are designed with global competition in mind.
Now we're here. I know this is one of the important rooms as well, and coming up as well. And then you have the stairway going up. So this is considered the ground level.
Yes.
And you have the second level, correct?
Right. And so the ground level behind us will be offices, faculty offices, and classrooms for UVI. I'll show you the shell space upstairs. It'll be easier to visualize when we're there. But in this space here, we have executive suites for RT Park tenants who are looking to engage in collaborative activities with the university. And so while there's still work going on in here, there's a total of 7 office spaces, total of 7 that are available. There's some expansion room upstairs, but these will be furnished and provisioned with telecommunications, everything a company would need to be able to come and participate in projects at UVI or with the RT Park, bearing in mind that RT Park's tenants can be located anywhere they want to be in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and so their principal offices can be on St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix, but this provides a place where tenants can come specifically to engage with UVI, and we can provide spaces for companies that want to be here permanently.
You know, at least my understanding was that when you built this facility, this was going to house all of the different, if you will, beneficiary of the tech park. And I guess after looking at it, it's totally impractical because you wouldn't be able to build a big enough facility to hold everybody.
That's a really great point to raise, and so I get this question a lot in the community. I think it's important to point out that this building, grand total, is around 19,000 square feet. And so if all that RT Park could do to contribute to the economy had to be captured in 19,000 square feet, we would have never been able to have onboarded 21 tenants and growing. And what's more important in the overall scheme of things is to make sure that the companies that we attract are contributing to economic development and workforce development here in the Virgin Islands. We have plenty of office space available, according to the commercial real estate industry, for companies who wish to locate here throughout the territory. And so by making it possible for RT Park tenants to office anywhere that they want to be, not only are we contributing to economic development from a workforce development, but we're also from a workforce development perspective, but we're also being good neighbors and friends to the real estate community, which is working very hard to continue to drive economic development in our major towns and in areas where tenants want to locate.
So the space we're in is going to be available to those companies that want to utilize the space.
Every one of our tenants will have access to this on an on-demand, space available basis.
So that no one has a permanent, if you will, long-term lease. This is available to whomever wants to use the space.
To be clear, we will make this space available on a long-term basis, but when we talk to our tenants about where they want to be, their answer primarily is that they want to use the proximity to the university for collaborative projects, which are part of their contracts with us, and they want their office spaces to be in areas that are either accessible to where do I go to lunch, or where's my law firm or accounting firm or what have you. So they have the best of both worlds in the sense that they can do it here and office anywhere they want to in the Virgin Islands.
You've created a high-tech office space,
right.
Suites of office,
right.
where the state-of-the-art, you'll be able to come in here and I guess, run the world, if you will, from this space, right?
Right, and two other important points that I would mention. First, this is what tenants told us that they wanted. And second, this is the way a number of other technology parks are doing it in the U.S. So this is a model that was not developed just from whole cloth by us. This is something that we've seen work in other places around the U.S. in particular.
Well, we have a couple of minutes left. I'd want to real quickly just kind of go in here and so take a quick footage of that. So what are we entering now?
We're entering the main lobby, and the entrance will actually face the university campus. And so you'll come in from a parking lot which has been designed, by the way, to percolate water. So it's a permeable surface. It's not paved. That reduces something called the heat island effect. And you'll come into this lobby, and the RT Park offices, as I said before, are in the first floor of the mill. And the second floor is the conference center, and the remaining spaces we talked about, the data center and the space for UVI.
So this would be the RT Park Administrative Office?
This will be the RT Park offices, an open floor plan. We do have a conference room here that looks out over the courtyard. And they tell me this will be finished by March 31st. We'll see.
You don't believe that, huh?
Oh, I do believe it, at the rate they're going.
Could you take us to the brain, to the heart?
Yes. Let's walk.
I like the very artistic engineering design of it.
I don't know how much time you have, but I wanted to show you, first of all, the conference center.
Sure. Oh, this is the conference center?
This is the conference center, which is the second floor of the mill. And this will seat a little over 50 people. It will stand closer to 100. And we have the lobby area outside as an extension of this space. And we see this as one of the most compelling spaces in the building. This is the mill. You're in it. We will have high-definition video conferencing capabilities in this room. that tie in not only to the UVI's other facilities, but anywhere you want to go in the world. And next, I want to take you to our data center. So,
Second level.
Anthony, now we're on the second level, and I wanted to show you the shell space that can be used for not only expansion space for the park, but much of this will be used for the wet laboratories and the classrooms for UVI. And this gives you an idea of the scale of the space that's available. And UVI is just now going through the process of making a final selection for the contractor that will be building out in this space. And their intention is to occupy this space in time for the upcoming fall semester. So over the course of the April-May timeframe and into the summer, there'll be a lot of activity here making this ready for classes to begin this fall.
And you said math and science.
Math and science.
It's going to be relocated here.
Yes.
Okay. And now how important is that going to be in terms of, you talk about workforce development and I guess developing the future workforce for the employment opportunities. And so basically this is going to be the heart of where companies are going to come and just simply tap into the student base that's here.
Right, because one of the challenges that we have here is that even if we educate students at UVI in math and sciences, if there are not career opportunities for them here, then they have to pursue careers elsewhere. So the opportunity to engage with RT Park tenants in career choices that match their own educational either affinities or desires is going to be very important to making this type of economic development sustainable.
Great. All right. All right, David, we're in a pretty loud room. Sound like some kind of compressed room. Tell us what's going on in here.
Okay. This is the data center room for the RT Park building. And the space we're standing in right now can hold up to probably 15 cabinets of data center equipment. Then behind us here, we have a space where all of the local service providers can connect to tenants that we have in the building. If you look down towards the ground, you'll see conduits coming out of the ground. These are pipes that go out to the street or elsewhere on the campus to provide for fiber connectivity to be able to reach inside the building. And you can tell the building's already comfortable. We're in the process of commissioning the air conditioning systems that are in here. This room is protected by a UPS, so everything in the room will stay up. And this can provide services to tenants or to any company that needs data center services. And we have expansion space out right behind the building to keep this going as demand increases. The point I would make here is that we will have fiber coming into the building from VINGN, from Innovative, and all of the ISPs are welcome here. So when we commission this building and bring it online, I believe it will be the best, most robustly connected facility for data in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
And these huge, gigantic computers that you have here, these have to run 24/7, 365 days a year?
Yes, this is an air conditioning plant, and it runs to whatever extent it needs to maintain a temperature that we set in the room. The space on the floor is where the cabinets will go for the computer systems themselves. If you look overhead, you will see these, they're called raceways, and this is where power and actually data lines will be extended to the individual cabinets. So once we're up and running, we'll see a room full of this equipment, and this couples nicely with similar rooms that we have inside the Level 3 Global Crossing facility on St. Croix and the AT&T facility on St. Thomas.
Well, David, I really enjoyed the tour. I want to thank you so much for showing us around the place. And we're standing on the balcony outside of the mill, the sugar mill. And give us an idea of when it's going to be completed and when is the grand opening of this new building.
The building will be complete March 31st, and we'll go through commissioning. We have a grand opening ceremony May 31st, but the park, RT Park, will be moving in sometime in late April.
Good, and I like the view from this angle, and it's a beautiful, attractive facility, and I'm really excited. I'm sure the community is gonna be excited, and we have good cause, good reason for celebration in very shortly.
I thank you for your time today, and I'm very excited as well about being able to bring this building online, and I'm very appreciative of the team that made this possible. And I look forward to welcoming the Cruisian community and the entire U.S. Virgin Islands to the opening of the RT Park building here in late May.
Well, folks, this has been another exciting edition of Inside the Marketplace here at the University of Virgin Islands St. Croix campus. And be sure to watch us on Channel 6 and, of course, online at wvibusinesstv.com.